countries, welcome to the channel if you're new, or if you're not, I'm Alicia, and either way, I'm so glad you're here. Today I am making my best ever, most reliable mac and cheese recipe that you absolutely cannot go wrong with. It works and tastes great every time. We are also going to be making mac and cheese bites, which are the most delicious way to use up any leftover mac and cheese that you have in your fridge. Let's get started. First, my most reliable mac and cheese. It is roux based, but don't go anywhere, okay? I know a roux can seem intimidating. I used to avoid them, but after I realized that they're actually really simple and I was able to understand how to approach them without fear, I found it is the best way to get a delicious mac and cheese every time, no matter what cheeses you choose. In a large pot, bring salted water to a boil and cook macaroni pasta according to package directions until al dente. Set aside. In a pan over medium heat, we will make our cheese sauce. Start by making that roux by melting some butter, adding some flour, salt, and pepper, and whisking until integrated. Now it will thicken up pretty quickly, and once it does, you're ready to start adding your milk. Whisk it continuously as you pour so that it doesn't burn, and this is where people get a little bit freaked out. They're thinking that it's too liquidy and it's never gonna thicken, but it will. Just keep whisking patiently, and 5, 6, 7 minutes later, you will notice it's thickening because you'll see it sticking to the sides of the pan. And once that happens and it's integrated and smooth, then it will continue to thicken quite quickly. So that's the time to add your cheese. So today I'm using shredded sharp cheddar and shredded Gruyere cheese, but I change it every time, so use your favorites. I personally think that grating your own cheese from a block, even the cheap blocks of cheese, rather than buying the pre-grated cheese, is gonna yield a much tastier, creamier, meltier result. It's totally worth the little extra bit of effort. Stir until melted, and then remove from the heat. Look at that sauce. Add in your cooked macaroni and stir to coat it completely in the cheese sauce. And now, it's time for a cheese break. Okay, so at this stage, you have a couple of options. You could stop and enjoy it. It's already so delicious and creamy, and I love this stovetop mac and cheese as is. But maybe you're more of a baked mac fan and want a crunchy topping. I hear you. This recipe is also great for that, and I will often use it for Thanksgiving or holiday dinners, knowing it works every time. So you cook the mac as we did, add it to a baking dish, and then separately in a bowl, mix together panko breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, and some melted butter. Then add that breadcrumb mixture on top of the mac and bake. This is one of my favorite ways to kick my mac and cheese up a notch. It almost becomes like a casserole texture with that buttery breadcrumb topping. In my opinion, this mac and cheese recipe simply cannot be beat. It's perfectly savory, the cheddar brings a sharp, salty flavor, while the Gruyere adds a nice sweetness and nuttiness. The stovetop mac is so rich and creamy, and the baked version is a bit thicker, but it is not dry. That buttery, flaky topping adds so much texture and flavor to the dish. I love mac and cheese, period. I love it. If you have leftover mac and cheese, you can use it to make mac and cheese bites. The good news is you can use any leftover mac, your own recipe, your neighbor's leftovers, or even your remaining Kraft or Velveeta from last night. Although I don't know if I've ever not finished a box of Kraft. They're kind of small. Anyway, your leftover mac needs to be cold to work with. Start by scooping it out with a cookie scoop and rolling into balls, and then placing those bites onto a baking pan. I actually used a mini muffin tin, and then freeze for about 15 minutes or longer. This helps the bites to firm up before we coat them. Let's set up our assembly for coating. Lay out 3 dishes, one with all-purpose flour, one with whisked eggs, and one with panko breadcrumbs and salt. Dip your chilled mac and cheese balls into the flour, and then into the egg, and then into the breadcrumb mixture, tossing them completely, and use your hands to really press the coating on as best you can. You want that crunch. Transfer your balls to a baking sheet with a wire rack and spray them down before baking. Yum! Wow, I thought I couldn't enjoy this mac and cheese recipe anymore until I tasted these little bites. Of course, the taste will vary based on your original mac, but we all know that mac and cheese is delicious, and And if you add a crispy, crunchy exterior, it's not gonna disappoint. It's like all the comfort of mac and cheese in a light little bite, and that also brings me joy. And don't underestimate the importance of joy with food. I underestimated it for too many years, and I'm really embracing it now by being present with the foods that I love rather than restricting myself from the foods that I thought I needed to have rules around. And I am so much happier this way. And whatever way of eating works for you, all that matters is that you are happy with it. Don't worry about what anyone else says or does. Do you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you will give my mac and cheese or these bites a try. All the recipes are linked below, and you can find all my other recipes for free also at mindovermunch.com. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time with a brand new episode, and remember, it's all a matter of mind over munch.